distinguished guest, Dr. Sam. And I'm going to go ahead, if Dr. Sam, you don't mind, share my screen.
Uh-huh.
So
You
that
should.
way we can follow along with a slide. Okay, so again, welcome everybody to our live practitioner Q&A with Dr. Sam. Again, my name is Kelly, and many of you guys are familiar with our Dr. Sam.
Hi.
Dr. Sam brings a unique blend of science-based expertise and personal experience to his practice. We're really grateful to have him here as our lead educator with Fitgenes USA. His approach combines deep functional medicine knowledge with genuine understanding as well as relatable humor. And so we really enjoy these live Q&A sessions with Dr. Sam because he always brings a little element of fun along with the science. Just his education experience, Doctor of Chiropractic, started in 2008. He added on acupuncturist as well as the Kalish Institute of Functional Medicine and the Institute of Functional Medicine in 2020. And then hello, this is me. I'm Kelly. I'm your practitioner support partner. This is one of the things that we feel distinguishes us at FitGenes USA, as I am here dedicated fully to serve practitioners, to make sure that onboarding is an easy process. I'm here to help you with your day-to-day implementation of using FitGenes within your practice, doing all the things behind the scenes to make sure that your focus stays on your clients and the smaller details are handled by me. Just a little bit about myself. I do live in Florida. I went to the University of Florida where I was a track and cross country athlete. So I like to bring that intensity and ethic into my everyday work environment. I have three children, all teens. So this is a new season of life for me. And outside of work, I'm obsessed still with running. I have the pickleball bug, and I like to focus on my yoga.
Yeah.
So that's Dr.
And for
Sam and
those
I.
for those that are worried about the pickleball bug, it's thoroughly contagious and terminal.
Yes, but it's a good way to suffer. All right. So since this is our first Q&A, I just wanted to touch on who we are. FitGenes USA, we are the Western Hemisphere distributor for FitGenes, which is an Australian-based genetics company. So if you type in fitgenes.com, you will go to their site. We are FitGenes USA. So we work exclusively with practitioners in the Western Hemisphere. What we offer, we have two kits, which is our FitGenes Genetic Blueprint, which runs the majority of your clients' genes. And then we also have our Carb Choice Blueprint, or you can combine both of those together at a discounted savings. Um, Besides the genetic kits and the blueprints, we feel that we have, like I said, the dedicated practitioner support team here for you. We have a learning library which has hundreds of videos on topics of how to implement fit genes into your practice, education on the different types of genes. We have samples of diets, plans for your clients. It's a great resource that's free to you. And then ongoing education, such as our newsletters are starting to go out. We will be hosting these live Q&A sessions once a month. That way we continually address your needs. So today's focus is going to be on what we believe sets us apart, which is our genetic blueprints. It's where we take the guesswork out of the interpretation. And this is really where Dr. Sam comes in and he shines, as he is the one who has taken the time to take the results and put them into a blueprint that works for your clients. So Dr. Sam, if you don't mind, would you just briefly speak to the practitioners on how you educate your clients on the FitGenes genetic blueprint?
Sure. So the Fitgenes Genetic Blueprint, what it is, it's a distillation of 10 years plus now of working in genetics, and it's taking the scientific jargon and research and the other collection of genetics reports and synthesizing them into one practical report that is very easy to interpret and even easier for a client or patient to actually implement and to understand. So what we've done here is take the complexities of multiple different systems within genetics and synthesize it into one report and to offer prioritized how to prioritize your approach when it comes to lifestyle, nutrition, nutrients, and so forth, as opposed to juggling through multiple different reports that um, it just simplifies the whole process for everyone, making it more effective and efficient. That then for the carb choice blueprint, this is a very unique test where it looks at the specific gene that breaks down carbohydrates in the saliva, which is the first step to carb metabolism, digestion rather, and that this gene it's a unique gene test. It's not looking for a variation like if it's a green, yellow, red dot or a quote good, quote not good, quote really bad version. It's looking at the number of duplicates of the copies of this gene, and the higher number of copies of this gene, then the easier it is to break down carbohydrates, which can really point um, the people you serve in the right direction if they're better suited for a keto style, Mediterranean style, high carb style, or even keto style diet. This is a very, very unique offering and one I would have personally invested almost anything for. I only found this out in 2016, and if I had figured that out, I was 35 at the time. If I could have figured that out when I was 15, as opposed to 20 years later, it would have just radically changed my whole health trajectory. Um, so those are the two offerings, uh, and to back it up, there's a whole resource library that's available to practitioners uh, who who want to dive deeper into the really important genes and gene clusters behind within the report.
Perfect. So that is what is going to bring us into our focus today, which is going to be on, whoops, hit too many times, is how to use the report. Especially as a practitioner, you want to use these reports to best support your clients in their journey for their health. Because a lot of them are coming to you with questions. They have tried many different routes. There's no shortage out there of ways to maintaining your health, but your genetics stay with you. That is who you are. And that is why we are really working hard to help practitioners bring this to their clients. So, what we want to quickly highlight is that the quick win summary is like the key to our FitGenes genetic blueprint because it gives you your dietary recommendations, your supplement recommendations, what type of exercise and recovery favor your client's genetic build, and as well as their hydration. So this one page is really key for you to connect with your clients and to see results happen right away. So, Dr. Sam, I'm going to go ahead and show what that summary page looks like. And if you don't mind, because this is definitely the bread and butter of,
Well, depends if they're lactose intolerant and if they're a low carb or high
oh,
carb. So bread and butter may not be the ideal metaphor.
very
Just
good.
just
That's
saying.
true. So
Just
help us figure out
that
which best metaphor to use.
I don't know. The beef and bacon is well, it's kind of hard
Well,
to
let's find
change.
out. Let's find out.
It's kind of hard to change the lexicon of an agrarian-based society that took over 10,000 years of the agricultural arc to create the
Oh,
city-states
yes.
that we're in. Okay, I'm deviating. Never mind. So, metaphors aside, yeah, we have to have a whole updated series of for the paleo folks. They need a whole new series of metaphors and colloquialisms. So for the first page summary, so the intention, I designed this page to the report itself uh, is. the best way to think about it is that this is the one-page summary of quick wins that is best for the people you work with to like print out and just have visually as the one-page big picture that summarizes their diet, the high level. This is high level. The most important elements of their diet that they should be focusing on, and then what are the key supplements in order of priority based on the number of which based on how many genes each supplement will beneficially affect to make them behave more green-like, green meaning like a green dot. So, and you'll notice I don't put a name of a company or a product here. It's just the ingredient that is specific to the order priority for the person. I mean, this is actual. This is an actual report that we've anonymized. Um, so this person would do well to start with something that contains sulforaphane, and then SOD inducer, and then omega-3s, vitamin D, any histamine nutrients, and you as as a practitioner can pick and choose what brand and what companies you feel would work best for the person you're working with. Other companies try to like funnel you into a specific brand of products of their own that are private labeled or their own production. I leave that to your professional decision on what it is you want to do. And there are there's and we educate on like what is sulforaphane, what's an SOD inducer, so that you can pick the best products for the people you serve. Then we have on the bottom left, we have exercise, the most important elements of exercise. Number one, what type of fiber type are they? Are they a fast twitch, slow twitch, or intermediate twitch? A yellow dot in this case means intermediate twitch. And then what is their relationship to collagen? Meaning, are they more prone to getting injuries if they have weak collagen? And for people that do have weaker collagen, they may benefit from additional support like extra recovery, more focus on recovery, not just exercise, specific dietary and nutrient considerations like collagen or other things that support, like creatine and inositol or other things like that. Collagen is uh, really important for the integrity of your musculoskeletal system. And if people have problems with the elasticity and the integrity of their collagen, they're more prone to injury, and which feeds into a separate but related field of how at risk are they for exercise-induced inflammation and muscle injury. Uh, this is an element. I'm really, really, really encouraging all practitioners to take not just exercise seriously, but also recovery seriously. And there are very key genetic markers that indicate which of your clients and patients really truly need to put as much focus on their recovery program as is on their exercise program. And for people who are hyper-inflammatory, like me, I have to, and I'm a red dot there in the exercise-induced inflammation and muscle injury. People like me have to we can't over exercise. If I exercise too much, if I get if I get suddenly delirious and I decide to join CrossFit and try to reach personal records every day for the next week, I'm going to be weaker at the end of that week because I'm so inflamed from too much exercise and certainly not enough recovery. So for me, I have to be I actually do better if I exercise two time like high intensity interval training like twice a week, at most three, and that's it. And I do lots of movement, which is separate from my I say exercise, but this is just an example of and I have different ex recovery strategies like saunas and walking and lots of hydration and there's other recovery strategy, qigong, things like that. So there's when you tell people, because some people hear like, oh, we just got to exercise more. That's actually not technically correct for certain genetic types. Some people need to exercise moderately in terms of how frequently they do it at what level of intensity, because they're at risk of injuring or over-inflaming. So Uh, and the back end library and learning library has like tons of detail into going into these topics. But the rest of the report is you can think of the rest of the report as taking all of these elements and explaining them in simple slides in more detail for you and your practice to better understand and articulate. So, for example, if you've got someone that's really concerned about low no caffeine because they just live off of coffee, but they have a yellow dot in caffeine. Well, there's an entire slide, Kelly, you're smirking. Is this confronting for you to me talk about caffeine? Is this a problem? Okay, you're covering your eyes. All right. Um, so if someone can't do caffeine in the sense that they get caffeine induced anxiety and depression, which I do, I have a red dot in caffeine. So Kelly, I see you on this. I miss coffee dearly. Um, what happens is that yeah, I would drink coffee and I thought, oh, I'm bulletproof. I put coconut oil in it and like look at me, all this energy. It wasn't actually energy, it was just massive anxiety because I couldn't process caffeine properly. And for people that are very concerned about this, there's an entire slide of just on their yellow dot and what that means for their yellow dot and what to do, and talks about how there's timing, around coffee, there's timing, there's dosage of like caffeine, like how much, and then there's quality, because a lot of caffeine products like coffee in the States is really moldy and not healthy. So you can think of the rest of the report as um, more details of this summary page. There are definitely additional things in the report, like more stuff on eating behaviors and more stuff on like immunity, such as like vitamin C and zinc and other things. But the bigger picture items are listed here on this first page. Now, another thing to point out is that when people have a yellow dot in histamine or a red dot in histamine, they would do better on a low histamine diet. And I usually, for whatever reason, I usually see the higher allergen risk, which is why I put here elimination diet. So this yellow dot here is for someone who's got a higher risk of food allergens. That's a whole other slide further down in the report. I see the histamine and elimination, the allergen and the histamine stuff pair together quite frequently. So if someone would be better off genetically to lean more towards an elimination low histamine diet, there is a sample low histamine elimination diet given to you that is available to you. You just click on it, and there's an entire explanation. There's even a video tutorial on it. And for those of you watching or listening, if you've ever tried to put someone on a low histamine diet, it's hard because there are a lot of quote health foods like cacao and avocado and tea and like other things that are can't, high in histamine that can be problematic for people that are sensitive. So I've presented several strategies in how to make someone go into a low histamine elimination diet actually quite much easier to accomplish. So this is the first page summary. This is the one page summary. And if and I just if you start here and you are coaching your clients and patients, this is easily you can work on this one page summary and helping them implement all of these dietary and exercise modifications and their genetic based supplements and improving their hydration. This could be 1 to several months of support just from this page, and both you and the people you run the test on, they have the whole rest of the report, and you have the report that you can just dig in if you want any more detail on any of these things. So I wanted to make a very complex subject of genetics as easy and straightforward as possible, and we're able to summarize the most important places to start into one page: diet, supplements, exercise, hydration. And that is where I recommend everyone who starts with this just start with this page, and then you can add in more detail as you go.
Perfect. That's exactly what I was hoping you were going to share. So thank you for that.
Mhm.
I do want to be mindful of everybody's time in case we have open question and answers. But before we move into that, I wanted to bring up one of the questions that I am most frequently asked because I didn't want this to get overlooked once we open question and answers to all the practitioners. The question that I get often is, how is my genetic data kept private and secure? So we do have this information listed on our frequently asked questions page, which is on our website. And because of the legality of it, I'm going to read exactly.
We don't have to read it out loud, Kelly. The people
Don't have to read
can
out loud.
we don't have
Okay.
to read it out loud.
So
It's basically
perfect.
the people can understand there's procedures in place, the data can be destroyed. These things are well established within
Yeah,
the genetic company space. So and I'm not to minimize people's concerns. Obviously, privacy is very important, and we just want to assure people that we the labs are acutely aware of the situations that people are concerned about and have their procedures.
perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so then that brings us into our open Q&A. So if any of you guys had questions ahead of time that you thought of or anything that in this presentation you want clarification, if you want to just raise your hand or yeah, or unmute yourself, that's perfect. Crystal, I saw you unmute if you want to go ahead.
Yes, so going back to the summary page, can you explain the red, yellow, and green dots?
Okay. So the red there are no green dots showing on this page for this particular person. But the what we're looking at here are in the genetics world, they have a traffic light system of green, yellow, red, which is uh, typically associated with if someone has a gene and they have a good copy from both mom and dad, that's a green. And if they have one bad copy, quote, bad copy from mom or dad, and one good copy from mom or dad, that's a yellow. And if they have two, quote, bad copies, that's a red dot. And so in almost every case, we treat yellow dots not as slightly less good version of greens, but as slightly less worse versions of reds. So we take yellow dots very seriously, like reds, and which is things that we can action on using different lifestyle, nutrition, diet, and so on to shift the expression of the genes to behave more green-like. So yellow, red genes will never be green, but they can behave more green-like with consistent good behavior and good lifestyle choices and nutrition and so on. And if you don't, then those red and yellow dots will their behavior will default backwards into yellow and red dot behaviors. So that's why we have the lifestyle recommendations and nutritional interventions and so on that are shown in the research to push the behavior of the red and yellow dots towards green-like behavior. So what you're seeing here when you see elimination diet, yellow dot, low histamine diet, yellow dot, what you're looking at is an aggregate of the several genes that are associated with higher risk of allergies, risk of of histamine intolerance, of caffeine intolerance, of problems metabolizing alcohol, and so on. There's not one specific gene associated with allergies on the elimination for allergens or histamine or caffeine. There's at least two. And what you're looking at is a summarization, a weighted average of the genes that are associated with that issue into a singular dot color for ease of interpretation and explanation, and more important, implementation for your clients and patients. The intention of this report is to make it much more straightforward based on the collection of genes that influence a particular process, like caffeine intolerance or histamine intolerance, to make it just really, really straightforward. And okay, there is a concern here based on your genetic makeup that you are genetically prone to having histamine intolerance or caffeine intolerance. And so we're going to now implement these strategies for those issues. And so this is a distillation of multiple gene clusters to make it really straightforward. It's like, okay, there's very likely a histamine issue here that's hardwired. Let's work on it. So that's what the yellow and red dots are for. It's indicating that there's something that can be addressed. Now, there's one exception on this page on the dot system that's not good or bad, and that's the fiber type. In the bottom left corner, where it says your muscle fiber type is a yellow, yellow fiber type, I'm a yellow fiber type. It doesn't mean that being an intermediate twitch muscle fiber type is bad, or that a red dot in this case is more endurance, slow twitch, it's more endurance muscle type. It doesn't mean it's bad. It just means the traffic light system designation of green, yellow, red dots has just been archaically applied to a thing where there's not necessarily a weighted benefit or disadvantage to one thing or another. They're just different. So there's only a couple genes in the whole report where that's the case. Exercise is one of them. Tasting bitter flavor is another. But uh, but for the vast majority, yellow and red dots are we need to do something about this in a very specific way. Uh, Elizabeth, you have your hand raised. You can just unmute.
Yes. So I have a couple of questions.
Yes.
Number one, if I have clients who have already taken like 23andMe
Mhm.
and they have their raw genetic report, can we upload that into FitGenes or do they need to start all over with a whole new
So,
test?
so there, okay, yeah, that's an excellent question. So there is a way to do it, to upload the 23andMe. You'd have to contact us separately and to facilitate that process. There's like an extra step of uploading through secure portal and all of that. That it is possible, but I'll tell you the risks associated with it, Elizabeth, that and these are real risks. I mean, I've been doing this for over 10 years and I've uploaded plenty of different 23andMe's and so on. Here's the risk. Not every gene, depending on what year 23andMe they ran, they may not have all the genes that we're looking for. So they will have what's called a gray dot. Instead of green, yellow, red, I've had to make a completely separate set of slides for gray dots when it's like we don't have the gene because they uploaded through 23andMe in a time when for whatever reason and when at that period of 23andMe they didn't have that gene. So there is a risk that certain genes won't be reportable because they just simply didn't test for it. And yeah, did that answer your question?
So would there be any financial benefit to them retrieving that 23andMe genetic data and uploading it to FitGenes?
There will it does cost a bit. It does cost a bit less to do the upload as opposed to dealing with a swab and shipping and so on. It's it's just a it's just a different set of logistics. Like instead, you have to do you have to communicate with them to like get their data and put it in the right format and then upload it to the right portal and so on. It's not difficult. It's just a different standard operating procedure. And there is a lower investment for the practitioner to purchase a 23andMe conversion as compared to doing a full swab redo. And then and however you decide to charge that to your clients is completely up to you. From our end, it is slightly less of an investment, but we've just seen that sometimes there's some key genes missing and they people can may choose to end up to do it anyway, and so they just do it anyways. But it's up to you.
Okay. Um, because so I have a client who is thinking about doing this, and she went to 23andMe, and it's like 2 weeks after putting in the request for her to actually receive that data from 23andMe, that download. Um, and then she can get a TXT file or a CSV file. What
Mhm.
kind of file would she need to upload?
So we can have uh, we have an entire PDF of instructions that we can send you
Okay,
that's something that you can just forward on to your client and actually has the instructions of where to download the thing and what the file is and so on.
that would be great.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so next question. Are there other genes that FitGenes has tested that aren't listed in this report? I've trying to figure out where in this report is there like a summarization of all the genes together, just by the name of the SNPs. Is
Oh,
it
we have that. That's something that's new that they put out, which is the list of all the genes. And we're happy to send that to you. In the report itself, um, what we've done is we've put the relevant genes specific to the section you're looking at, not one giant list of every single gene. Uh, simply because the having everything in one that was not we found it to be more useful for practitioners and for clients to just see the genes that were relevant to the section that they were looking at. But if you want a full list, we can provide that to you, no problem.
I think this report is very user friendly and it can be super helpful for implementation, but I'm actually studying functional genomics right now, and so I just really wanted to see what all the genes
Oh,
were
sure. That
that were
makes
being
total sense.
tested.
Yeah, no problem.
So if I send in a request to like Kelly or something, then she'll send me all that report for
Yeah,
my
yeah.
report.
Yeah, so it's we can send you that full report. That it's not a it's a report that's generated directly from Fitgenes database. It's not a report that I've polished like this. It's a pretty sterile looking report of like here's the genes, here's the codes, here's the calls on it and so on.
Yeah, that's what I want.
Okay, no problem.
Okay. And then um I think this is probably a question for Kelly. In my FitGenes practitioner portal, it doesn't have my own personal FitGenes test
Oh,
results.
that's a technical reason is that due to the software is that your own you the your email is your own email for the portal is attached to your specific genetics. So for technical reasons, the portal your portal email and the email in which you ordered the test can't be the same. So it's actually under uh the FitGenes itself. So it's a separate portal, and we can download and send you out. And if you need more access to anything else, just let us know. We should have sent you everything. If you're missing something in particular, just let us know.
No, but since I signed up as a practitioner, I can't seem to access the portal for as a patient. Um, so
Well,
maybe it's
accessing which part is a page, accessing which part of the portal?
well, even just to re-download my own results.
Yeah, that's something we can help you with directly.
Okay,
It's a unusual thing around the software that they can't be the same emails.
got it.
Yeah.
Um, okay. Um, I think that was all my questions right now.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Uh, Christine, did you have any questions?
Not at the moment, thanks. I just got my report yesterday last night, so I looked
Oh,
at
great.
it.
Okay.
So, yeah, so this is pretty self-explanatory and I think it's going to be really easy to implement.
Great. That's the best endorsement. That's the most succinct endorsement I've heard yet of like this is when you say it's self-explanatory, that is literally what I was aiming for.
Great.
That is absolutely what I was aiming for to truly spare practitioners hundreds and thousands of hours of of trying to put this all together in a practical way. So thank you. I love that.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, I'm getting ready for work here to get out. But I have been doing things in the functional world. I'm a chiropractor, but I've been doing things for 35 years, and this is part of the problem when you implement things is being able to, in a timely manner, explain to patients what's going on and what you want to do. And this is great.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Christine. And as from one chiropractor to another, like you and I both know like we can have clinical ADD real bad and just want to learn the next thing, the next thing, and then the next thing. And
Yeah,
implementation is the hardest part. And um, definitely creating a report where it's easy to interpret, easy to implement. Because
yeah,
ultimately, like it's really fun to learn new things, but ultimately we're here to help people.
yeah.
And we got to make a report that's easy for people to be helped with.
Yeah, and I just started a new faction of my practice with a violet fat loss laser from Merconia.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're familiar with it.
I'm very familiar with zirconia going back over 20 years.
Right, so this is their brand new, it's the world's only violet fat
Mhm.
loss laser. And so my weekly meeting is tonight, so I'll be introducing this concept to the people who are doing the program right now because this is going to be absolutely a game changer.
So is your clinic focused on fat loss?
No, it's not actually. I have my niche has been pediatric chiropractic for a
Okay.
long time. But I did start using the handheld lasers in my practice a few months ago. And then when they started talking about how the violet fat loss laser can help with healing the gut and the microbiome, I was like, I got to get one.
Yeah. So I just to not to turn this into a laser conference, but just to bring the focus back on fat loss. So in one of the things in the learning library and also on several podcasts I've done on FitGenes, if you ever do want to focus either as a collective effort for your practice or for any individuals, the Fitgenes genetic blueprint has a massive amount of genes for fat loss that are broken down into three separate clusters. So I've identified through genetics that there's three major ways people genetically hold on to stubborn weight. One is inflammatory water weight, another is hormonal toxic weight, and the last one is fat calorie weight, which is the one most people think is their main cause of weight, and it's actually the least common. The
Yep,
most common is inflammatory water weight.
yep,
And so the way that so just for context, it's when people have inflammation, your body retains water in order to dilute the damaging inflammatory chemicals to buy your liver and kidneys time to get rid of the inflammatory chemicals and get them out. This is how people who are hyperinflammatory and they go to CrossFit and they are strong, but they don't look cut. They don't have definition because they're so inflamed. They've got this like layer of water weight over their muscles and they got this ruddy reddish complexion. They're so overinflamed that their body's retaining the water that's covering up their definition. And these are the people that if you take them off of exercise for like a week, their definition will return, they'll look better, they'll feel better, and they'll be stronger the
hmm
next week.
Yeah.
So people can have genes that make them hyper-inflammatory that they put on water weight. If they're very sensitive to histamine, they will retain I mean, literally, histamine is the body's flood switch.
yep,
So I swell up from a bee sting. So if someone's sensitive to histamine and they eat high histamine foods, that's the equivalent of consuming a slow-moving full body bee sting. So they just retain water everywhere. And
hmm
that's another source of inflammatory water weight. The VDR genes, the vitamin D receptor genes, people who don't absorb vitamin D well, I'm not talking synthesizing vitamin D from the sun. Those are about six separate other genes. The people who can't use vitamin D well, they have a hard time controlling inflammation in their immunity. So they are much higher prone to inflammation and chronic illness and any associated water weight they're in. Other people, if they have the higher risk of food allergens, then their gut's more likely to create inflammation and immune response. So that's another cause of inflammatory water weight. Salt, believe it or not. So I see the air quotes high blood pressure genes. It's this terrible way to smear a gene. I almost never see people with high blood pressure with those genes when they're red and yellow. What I do see is water retention. And so I've seen people have water weight when they take salt, not high blood pressure. And so that there's strategies around to navigate people who've got that reaction. So that's the inflammatory water weight that comes from that you can see in the genetics reports. The toxic hormonal weight, that's pretty straightforward. That's looking at the 8 genes for liver detox. That's looking at um the the genes for estrogen detoxification and uh how people handle their hormones and chemicals and so on. Because the body will throw toxic chemicals and heavy metals into the fat cells because the fat cells are the dirty closets of the body. Or their hormones can't detox properly because their liver is so overwhelmed, toxic, infected, inflamed, preoccupied, stressed out, whatever it is. Uh, or I mean, and the people can have more than one of these things combined. Like if someone is a hyperinflamer, particularly if they got all 3 CRP genes as variations, the CRP genes are the responsible for the acute phase protein in the liver. I call the hat trick. If they've got all 3 CRP genes as yellows or reds, they have a very, very hard time clearing inflammation because their liver itself is inflamed more rapidly as such as a whole. So like if you got if your liver is the kitchen and you got estrogen is like you're trying to detox toxins and estrogen in the garbage can, but if your what's more important, dealing with the garbage or if your stove is on fire? And so the priority of the liver is always to deal with inflammation first and detox second. And that's how people can get toxic hormonal weight secondary to inflammatory weight. And then the third one, there's a whole bunch of genes related to, calorie fat weight, how well you metabolize fat, how well you burn it in the mitochondria. There's several genes like the UCP or uncoupling genes that, how easily you burn fat for fuel and sorry, fat for heat in that case for the uncoupling genes. Um, so those are the 3 main categories of weight loss that are divided into multiple genes within there's multiple genes that can nest under inflammatory weight or toxic weight or calorie weight. But if you are interested in weight loss, this genetics test is an absolute roadmap to dealing with stubborn weight loss that's genetically linked, that you can then do all these lifestyle epigenetic recommendations to help them deal with that.
I did see that on my test, and I do recall seeing the ones for inflammatory and the fat calorie, but were there ones there for the toxic hormonal as well?
So you'd have to look at the liver. You're looking under it's further down. It's the cellular defense section in the health and
Cellular.
well-being. It'll be
Okay.
listed there's liver de it's where the free radicals, liver detox, and estrogen detox is. If you just
Oh,
click on the table of contents,
yeah.
you can fast travel to that section. It's the
Hmm.
picture of
Okay,
the
great.
washer and dryer where I explained
Right, 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 right. Okay. Yep. That's great. That was really helpful.
Mhm. Yeah,
Brilliant.
and look, like I get it. Lasers are fun, and when I trained my mentor, Dr. D'Onofrio, he first time I met him, first place I met him was at a laser seminar in January of 2005, and I think that they're really really great tools, and I my and I'm a pragmatist. Just leverage as many tools as you can, and now you've also got an entire armory of genetics tools to help people with weight loss. And the good thing about the genetics part of it is that it's really scalable because an individual needs to take time to get a laser done and all the rest of it. And of course, as you know, their lasers they're not cheap from Marconia. Whereas the genetics piece can be scaled to a lot of people. And yeah, so as a pragmatist, um, yeah, if you've got working tools, just keep adding to your arsenal.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much.
Mhm. What are the questions we have from people?
Everybody feel good so far? Those are great questions. Thank you guys for coming prepared. We appreciate it because obviously we're also taking notes in ways that we can better serve you and knowing, what you're looking for in your practice and what your concerns are. So thank you for taking the time to ask those questions. Um, Thank you, Dr. Sam. I know you're extremely busy. We appreciate your time coming here to help educate us.
Mhm.
And everybody, thank you guys. We really appreciate this is our first live Q&A, so I will always remember each and every one of you for being here and being a part of this
You're duckling
great
to Kelly.
beginning.
That's what she's telling you. You're imprinting on her. That's
Yes, yes. So I really enjoyed getting to talk to you guys face to face. We are going to be doing this every third Wednesday of the month. So our next one will be on February 18th. The topic will be incorporating the Fit Genes into your practice. So come with questions that you might have, different scenarios with different clients maybe you've encountered. And we're happy to address those for you. If you want to send me an email ahead of time with your questions, that way we can make sure that, we have time to thoughtfully make sure we thoroughly answer those questions. That would be great. But otherwise, please mark your calendar, Wednesday, February 18th. We will do this again. And please tell your friends. If anybody has questions, let us know. We do have our 10% discount happening right now until the end of the month. If you type in New Year, you get 10% off any kits that you order. So there are savings right now. So go ahead and take advantage of that. We've got 10 more days left in January. I can't believe it. It's going by so fast. So, Dr. Sam, any closing thoughts,
uh,
feelings,
uh, uh,
wisdom?
so much wisdom is just radiating from my pores. Thank you all for joining us today. And if you have just throughout this next break, just continue to write down questions. You have a little file of questions for yourself that come up. Then we can address them on the next call.
All right, perfect. Well, in that case, I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of your Wednesday, and we'll see you guys next month.
Thank you.
Yes, welcome. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.